Hi there, my name is Vineev, and this is a quick tutorial for Prince of Persia Warrior Within any percent Zipless. So I guess I'll just start off by talking about the route and stuff, the run. So the category is any percent, so you can just go through the game doing whatever, but the restriction is Zipless, so you can't do this glitch right here. I'll just show you. This glitch right here is called zipping. You'll see the prince like move forward like that. That's called zipping. You're not allowed to do that throughout the run. But there's plenty of other glitches you can do, so don't worry. And for the run itself, you want to have wall run bounded to something on the keyboard, which I'm going to do right now. Doesn't matter what, it just has to be on the keyboard because the mouse, it won't work with the menu. And then also sword attack, you want another key on the keyboard. And that's pretty much it. The other stuff like alternate view and reset camera, they don't have to be on the keyboard, although it might be useful, but I usually have reset camera on a key. But yeah, these two are very useful, and you might not normally, like casually, you might not have used those at all. Yeah. And then in terms of settings, I recommend having like all this stuff low and none because it just distracts you. And same with the water effects and fog. And have VSync on, that's required because of if you don't have it on, it like fucks up the game. It's not even fun. It's just stupid. Yeah, so you want the game running at 60 frames per second essentially. And then that's just graphics to whatever you want. And tutorials should be off too. I don't even know if they're... Oh yeah, that should be in game. Yeah, so tutorials have those off because it'll just be annoying. And obviously the slow motion camera, none, because slow motion is surprisingly slow. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the options. And then the only other thing is the video folder in your game's directory. You want to delete or rename that to skip cutscenes. May sound like cheating, but it's mainly to keep loads more fair between PCs. So yeah, just go ahead and delete that one. It just deletes pre-rendered cutscenes. So like the opening cutscene when you start the game, it doesn't delete in-game cutscenes. So yeah, that's my big spiel. Yeah, I guess the prince wants to say something. I'm actually gonna turn off voices because I don't need them to talk. So I'm gonna start this tutorial after you get the recall ability through this portal. If you want a tutorial for the start of the run, which is like the same between any category, just go look at the any percent, like any percent normal that uses zipping, because it's the same in that category as well. I just don't want to like talk about it again. So yeah. Anything else? I guess I can talk about the menu glitch. Yeah, I'll talk about that now, because there is a use you could do up here. But first I'm just gonna death abuse to get all 3 sands back. I'll probably use the trainer at some point, but for now I don't need it. Okay, so the menu glitch is just this. If you press escape, and then just mash the escape button, you'll see like the red flash, and then it'll open up like this. And what this does is allows you to like do inputs and pause it with the menu, so you can like do a roll and like pause it with the menu like that. And it allows you to do a variety of glitches, which we'll get into. But the main thing I just wanted to show you is the map glitch, or the menu glitch itself. And to get out of this, like if you just want to close it, you need to use a sand. So what you want to do is just rewind and then press continue in the menu like that, and then it'll actually close it. It's kind of annoying.
Time traveling portals the old man spoke of.
Why is he still talking? Turned sounds off, didn't I? Yeah. Oh yeah, wait, yeah. This game is dumb and it has voices attached to music, so I need to turn the music off. Okay. Alright, so we can go ahead now. So the fastest form of movement throughout the game is side rolls, so you'll see me doing that a lot. They're pretty self-explanatory. You just get out your weapons and start rolling sideways. But one thing that you might not know is you can buffer them together. You can actually press side roll again before the first one is finished. I'm doing it right now. So not only, oh shit. Not only is it like faster because you're doing them frame perfectly, but it allows you to ignore enemy collision. So that's pretty sweet. Because the enemy auto-targeting can be really annoying. Alright, so yeah, after you come out of the portal, you just want to do side rolls. And you'll get to this small cutscene. And this is where you could use an iteration of the menu glitch if you wanted to. There's enemies coming up here, and I'll show you like a strat to get around them. But if you want to deload them and just not have to worry about it, you want to stand right about here, and then when the first column hits the wall to the left here, pause. And then this is where you're going to start the menu glitch. That's just to time the trap so you don't get hit when you're trying to do this. So then you just mash the escape key to get your menu glitch. And then you want to just hit continue and then wall run straight forward. The timing is super lenient. So just hit continue, wall run straight forward. And then when it's frozen like that, give it a little bit of wait time. And then hold the rewind key, press map, and then hit cancel, and then press continue. You might not need to press continue. It depends on how your PC is interacting with the game. It's kind of fucked up. But yeah, so that did a little teleport, and then as you see, there's no enemy down there. So you can just rewind that and listen to it again if you didn't get it, because it's kind of confusing at first. Just do it one more time. Yeah, there's the enemy. So pause when the trap hits that wall, mash, press continue, hold forward and wall run, which you need to do on the keyboard. That's important. If you do it with the mouse, the prince will fall off the wall when the menu comes back up, and then it won't work. So yeah, and then when you get here, hold rewind, press map, wait a little bit, press cancel, and then you might need to hit continue as well. And cancel, by the way, if you're not aware, is just whatever button takes out your weapons, that's cancel, or throws your weapon as well, that's the cancel key. Alright, so that deloads enemies, but I'll show the strat that you do if they are loaded. Actually, let me just die, because normally he doesn't notice you're here. Alright. So this is like the standard route you would do. Because deloading them is a little bit slower. And it also makes the trick after a little unsafe, because you don't have an extra sand. But it's an option. So the problem with this room is that the enemies like to auto-target you. So you want to get to that pole that you see right here. That's what we're trying to jump on. But if the enemies are anywhere near you, the prince can't jump on the pole. He'll vault towards the enemy. So what I try and do is like, there's a couple different strategies. What I do is I kind of like move to the left a bit to try to lure the enemies that way, and then I head towards the right and go for the pole. The other way you could do is just start side rolling again and go straight to the pole. That's faster, but I find it's inconsistent, so I don't like doing it. This is what I do. I go over to the left like that, and then I go to the right, and hope I can get far enough away so then you can jump to the pole like that. If you weren't quick enough or whatever, then he'll do a vault off that wall and you'll be sad. So when you get here, you want to climb all the way to the top, like until you can't go any higher, because if you don't, again, you'll vault to the enemy, and then jump over here and then jump back. This is just some sick casual gameplay. Careful rolling here. That's the second fastest movement, I guess. If you're not side rolling, you should be rolling, and you can also cancel them together like you can with side rolling. But yeah, careful rolling here because you can jump to that curtain and it's really annoying. So we're gonna hit the switch, but then we're gonna do a little trick so we don't have to wait for that curtain to bring us down safely because that's slow. We're gonna do what's called a safety fall, which is just this animation, that attack off a wall. That's called a safety fall. So you can do it if your weapons are out and you wall run and you just press secondary key, then it just happens. But if you don't have your weapons away, or if you don't have your weapons out, then you can just press secondary and jump, and it'll do the same thing, just like that. So yeah, so you just want to like hit the button, lose height on the wall, and then do that attack, just like that, and then you'll land down here safely. And if you get lucky, the enemies won't be in your way, and you can side roll straight to the door. But normally they're close enough that you kind of just have to walk slowly. Okay, so hopefully I'm not going too fast. YouTube has a speed option so you can slow it down if I am going too fast. Yeah, so here is the big skip of this game. We want to go to that door over there, which saves like 2 hours over casual gameplay. And there's a couple ways to do that. The way I recommend is, actually I kind of like, it's 50-50, whatever way you want to do really. There's a launch you could do here that can get you there, and there's also something called a rewind trick. I'm just going to show the rewind trick in this tutorial, but I'll put a link to a setup for this launch, because I don't really want to talk about launches right now. And the rewind trick method is also faster, and they're probably about the same consistency anyway, so you should just do this one, I guess. So yeah. So all rewind tricking is rewinding twice to the same frame, or the same point in time, and that sort of tricks the game's memory, and depending on what you're doing, it'll do different things, but what we're going to use it for is extending a jump. So if I'll just try and show you. If we jump to this pole, and then rewind twice to the same point, just like, fuck. I'm gonna turn on cheats. Alright, so I just activated the trainer. You're obviously not allowed to use this during the run, but just for a tutorial, I'm gonna use this. Let me try that again. I just want to show you what it is. There we go. So you see I got like a extended jump and I reached the pole. So that's what a rewind trick is. You can do it with like different actions, but this is the action you want to do it with to reach that pole. And the basic method to do it is to like do your action and wait a long time past where you want to rewind trick, if that makes any sense. So when I jump, I wait until like all the way until I hit the death plane, and then I start rewinding. And then when you release that rewind at the point where you want to trick it, then you want to rewind again as quickly as possible. So you jump, wait until you hit the death plane, rewind, and then there, and then I try and rewind like as quickly as possible. And then eventually, hopefully, you'll get a rewind trick. And see, that time I got it with 3 sands, which would also be fine because you normally have 3 sand if you didn't deload the enemies, which is why this is unsafe, I guess, if you leave the enemies alone. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about that. The other method of trying to do it would just be to like rewind like this, like right away, which can also work, but I find it's less consistent. See, I'm having trouble getting it already. Yeah, I can't even do it, so I usually wait. And if you haven't noticed with the setup, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I use the landscape view. So I just come down here, get up, turn around, landscape, and then you can just jump straight left, and then you'll be in line with the pole. Yeah, so that's it. Okay, so when you get here, if you're really high up in the pole, be careful, because you can just like jump and then die like that. That's no fun. So make sure you're far enough down and then jump. And then this is a like late game area, but it's not loaded. See, like this area is over here, it's just darkness. So what we want to do is drink from this fountain. And I'm gonna try to, can I take some damage here without actually dying? Not really. Okay. It's fine. I was gonna show you, because with the fountain. So what you'll normally do is you'll land here, and then you can just roll here. You'll drink until you see the prince's health increasing, and then you rewind. And that'll give you the checkpoint and also avoid having to say no to saving. And then you just want to come over here and death abuse. If your health is full, like mine was, then obviously you can't tell that. You'll either just have to keep drinking fully and say no to saving, or you can just, if you know the timing, then you can just still rewind like I did. It's like if you take like 2 drinks from the fountain, then you should be fine. Okay, so now we're here and the area is loaded. So we're gonna continue on. More side rolls. This area can be tricky because enemies, but if you buffer the side rolls, if you get used to buffering the side rolls, then it'll be much easier to get past the enemies. And the reason I stopped side rolling back there is because you need to make a cycle right here. So it's pointless to continue side rolls because you're gonna have to wait for that cycle anyway. Okay, so it's pretty fast, but it's pretty simple. I just side roll to that archway and then I rewound again, because normally if everything goes perfectly, you'll have 1 sand right now. And if you need another sand, there's 1 in here, and there's also 1 right here. So just so you know. So yeah, so I just side roll to that archway and then I rewound and then I died. And that weird thing I did off the wall, you just do it by pressing primary attack and secondary attack, and the prince just sort of falls off the wall. It's a nice quick way to die if you're wall running. So this is the safe way of doing this part. We're gonna turn into the sand wraith now, so I'm just gonna death abuse 1 more time. The safe way is just to, you get the checkpoint and then you die 2 more times and you should turn into this dude. If you didn't, then your PC hates you and you just have to like mess around with priorities and stuff. You can just ask like people in the Discord, because yeah, it can be kind of stupid, but you can usually find a way to make it work. Yeah. The faster way to do this, however, I'll just mention, which is the way I do it in runs, is to just, when you do the initial death to get your story gate, then you just continue and you save and quit later. So I'll show you where you do that. If you want to see these story gates, you can get a plugin from LiveSplit. You can actually see the numbers. It jumps you from like story gate 3 to 58. So it's like a huge jump in the story. But yeah, so we're the Sand Wraith now, safe way, and we're just gonna roll into this cutscene. You can skip this cutscene with a wall run teleport, but it's not really worth it because it's pretty short. But after it's over, we're gonna do kind of a tricky jump. And to set it up, you can either use the columns by jumping between them, which puts you in a pretty consistent spot. Or you could just side roll there, which is what I do because it's faster and I don't find it's that much harder. There we go. Yeah, I think you just like jump here. Yeah, like that, and then it lands you here, puts you in a pretty puts you in a consistent spot to try and do this jump, which is this jump here. Just like that. I could do that again. But yeah, you just want to like aim as far left on that pole as you possibly can, and then just keep jumping. You can get different variations of it. Sometimes you'll land right on the little collision there, and then you can just wall run straight up and get up there. Yeah, I'll just show you that again. I'll show you my method of getting there too. I like to move a bit closer to it as well. So I just sort of like, I take out my weapons as soon as the cutscene's done, and then I just start side rolling like this. This way is faster. Then you climb up here, and if the enemies are far away enough, then you won't be in this combat stance. But if you are, then you just go in first person, which I always do anyway. But yeah, you just go in first person, and you can aim the jump as far left on this pole as you possibly can. If you're too far left, then you'll just straight up miss it, or you'll bounce off on an angle like I would have done if I jumped there. But yeah, so as far left as you can without missing it. And then, yeah, this is the variation I was talking about where you can actually land up here, and then you can just wall run straight up like this. That's always a nice way to get it, because you know immediately you got it for free. But normally you can just jump between them as well, and you'll get up with not too much trouble. So yeah, that might take some practice, and that's why turning into the Sand Wraith is safer, because then you have infinite sands to keep rewinding if you mess it up. Because if you do mess it up, and you land there, then the enemies usually come around, and then you can't do the jump because they're in your way. Alright, so let's continue. So when you hit this fountain, the story gate will go to 59, and then that platform disappears. That's a way to know your run is okay to continue. If that doesn't happen, then it's messed up. So this is where you would save and quit. If you do it the faster way and you didn't turn into the Sand Wraith yet, you would just drink from the fountain. I'm just going to make a save here anyway, in case I need to reload it. Make a save, and then force quit the game. We have a program for it to just crash the game, or you just close it manually. And then reboot. Reboot the game, not your PC. And then load the save. And then you should be the Sand Wraith. Okay, so this next area, it's probably faster to just go and hope for the best. But this area is annoying, and if you do this method, you can do a skip that's pretty cool. So I recommend doing this. If the traps are activated, you can deactivate them by just going back here. And then go up to the fountain, right about here, not too close, because then they'll start like that. But yeah, just select the fountain, and then turn around, and then we're going to do another teleport, where we're going to use a roll this time. And the timing for this one is really, really lenient, so it's not that hard. So you want to get your menu glitch again. And then you're going to hit continue, and then do a roll downwards. So you would hit like down and roll right before the menu comes back up. So you're going to hit continue and then roll. And that was a terrible timing, but it might still work. Then you hold your rewind, press map, and then cancel, continue. And you see I still did it, even though that timing was absolutely terrible, but it still worked. So it teleports you right past the trigger for the traps to start. So then you can just continue the run without having to deal with them. And hopefully without dying. This jump is barely faster, but I always do it. Just activated the trainer again. See all these saw blades here are gone. It's really nice. It's possible that it is faster, but I don't know. I don't think I actually ever timed it. Mainly because this trick right here, you can do this trick with the traps here, but it's much harder. So what you do is you just want to wall run on this wall by giving it like a slightly like wider angle like this. You don't want to be like that because then you can't really hit the wall. You want the screen to be sort of facing it like that. And then jump right past the black line, the second black line down there. So you'll wall run and then jump here and then jump there. And then you'll get right over here. If you wait too long, you'll hit that thing on the wall like that. And then you'll just come back here. So you want to jump like right before you would hit that. Like that. And the timing for the second jump on that is like later than you think. So just if you're falling off when you hit that, it's because you're pressing jump too early. Okay, and then when you get down here, you just want to wall run on this side. You can just tap the wall run, like just press forward and wall run and let go immediately. And then do a safety fall. Just like that. And it just skips having to drop down all that stuff. Alright, so this is where you can get the Scorpion Sword, which we do need to grab. Not because we use it really, but because we need the damage that it gives us, or we need more specifically, the damage multiplier it gives the secondary weapon. Alright, so we get here. I fall down this curtain and jump, and then just walk. I usually wait there a little bit, and then start side rolls around this corner. And usually the enemies get stuck like that if you're quick enough. But sometimes they'll follow you. If they do, then you just gotta kill them. But yeah, they're stuck right there. That's good. But yeah, if they do follow you, then you just want to kill them by throwing them into the pit there. Or kill 2 of them by throwing them in the pit. And then the last one you want to just strangle by pressing the throw button once and then mashing the cancel key because you need a secondary. So yeah, so we get here and we're gonna do this trick that I just did by wall running up this. And you want to go like do a max wall run, go as high as you can, and then jump in between the walls to land in this inside the collision here. And then you can use first person to angle your camera forward. And I like to just do a block roll forward like that, and then turn around and then reset camera. Your camera's facing this direction. And then from here, we're going to move backwards. And you can sort of look at the prince's left foot as a guide, so you see it there. You want like his whole foot to be visible, and then you can move back. If it starts to go in the wall again, move a little left, and then keep going back. And you want to be right on this line. It's like the second last line before the end of the floor. Okay, so when you get here, you want to inch your way to the right, and you want to just go like right when is like half of his foot. It's not like too precise. Obviously, if you fall off, you've gone too far. But you want to like bring his foot like halfway, so it's halfway inside the wall. And then at this point, you want to look left using the first-person camera, and then throw your weapon. And if you do it right, that will happen. You'll just kind of fall down without taking any fall damage. And if you just fall down, like, or no, it still worked. If you're like too far right and you try to look like this, and then that happens, or you just fall normally, then you can either try inching more to the left, or you could try looking less left, if that makes sense. Like the further right you are, the less left you have to look. If you're further right enough, you actually don't need to look left at all. That time I didn't work. Yeah, if you're like as far right as you possibly can be, then you actually don't need to look. There we go. You actually don't need to look left at all. You can just try it. If like it doesn't work, try looking left, and then it should work. It's not too hard. Just trying to think if there's anything else to say about that. Not really. It's pretty easy. It's called a drop glitch. If you're wondering, like the name for this, we call it a drop glitch, which it's very useful in this room, but it's not universally useful because you can only really do it off of ledges that you can't grab on normally. Like with this ledge, you grab onto it like that, so you can't really do a drop glitch in Warrior Within off ledges like that. So yeah, let's just continue now. Didn't work, so I gotta look less left. Need to look more left. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you can just throw the weapon away at that point, you don't need it. So, and then we're gonna continue over here. We're not gonna grab the Scorpion sword yet. You wanna come over here and grab this sword. Just, it's for the damage. And then we're gonna watch this cutscene to get the sword. But, we're gonna do another glitch called Quicksand right after we get the sword. And there's a bunch of enemies that come from this area here, and we want to try to avoid having to kill them. So the way you do that is, I'm going to deactivate the trainer here to show you. Alright, so I'm back here. I had to reset to turn off the trainer. You can just see this trick in full speed. So it didn't work, so that means I need to either move more to the right or look further left. Either way. There. Okay. So we're going to grab this secondary, and then we're going to walk into this cutscene after using a sand, because we're going to try to avoid the fight coming up. The glitch we're going to use starting right after the cutscene is called Quicksand, which is just jumping and rewinding over and over again, and you sink into the floor like this. But you want to time it so that you regenerate your sands, so you don't need to wait, because you need to do it 21 times, which is really annoying. So I can just talk about the timing to regenerate them actually. So when a sand regenerates, that's when you want to start jumping again. So regenerates, and you want to jump and rewind until the sand is like half filled, and that's when you can let go. I fucked it up there. But yeah, try that again. You want to rewind till the sand is like half filled in the heads-up display there. That should regenerate it like this. And then once you get down to the point where the rewind timer is empty, then you can just bottom out the rewind timer. And it should always regenerate. So yeah, that's Quicksand, but I'll show you like doing it where you're supposed to do it. Because you can't do it now, because if you just do it now, then when we hit the cutscene, it'll take it away. So yeah, so what you want to do is you'll have full sand or close to it, and you want to like use a sand and then wait like 3-4 seconds and then roll into the cutscene. It sort of depends on your regeneration cycle. You can get unlucky and then have it regenerate too soon. Yeah, just like use a sand to then roll into the cutscene. It's very rare that you don't have enough time for this to work.
This should make things easier.
So as soon as the rewind timer starts a little bit, do a jump and rewind. Do that twice, and then start walking towards the door, looking at your sand, and then when it starts regenerating, that's when you start your timing like this. And then at this point, all you're pressing is jump and rewind. You don't need to worry about the prince taking out his weapons or anything, because that can mess up Quicksand. Sometimes the prince will be walking as you're doing this, like he is now. You can still just jump. You don't need to stop his movement. You just keep doing this 21 times, which I wasn't counting at all, so I'm just going to go by feel here. I think that's close to enough. But you see at this point I'm just bottoming out the rewind timer. Alright, that should be enough. No, it's not. There we go. Apparently I was at 20. Okay, and then you can roll right under that gate, which was the purpose of doing this glitch. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. It takes a long time to get, but it is faster. So, and then to get out of it, the fastest way is just slash your sword and then move, and then you can get out of it, which you want to do to set up for this launch anyway. So we're going to do another glitch called a launch to get up to that opening there. The way you do that is, the way I like to set it up is just stand right underneath this torch and start holding block and then press escape. It sets it up to do the glitch. So when you get the menu glitch, you want to mash escape and block, alternating. It doesn't have to be alternating, but that's what I do. And that's to make sure the prince keeps his weapons out. So you press escape and mash block as well, just like that. And then you should be stuck in this animation. And if you wait too long here, then he'll put his weapons away extremely quickly. So you want to start the next step like right away. I'm just waiting to explain it. But yeah, the next step would be to hit continue, and then as quickly as you can start a wall run to the left and do a safety fall. And that actually still works. That's surprising. Okay, so yeah, just like that. And then after you get the safety fall in, you want to hit continue and then immediately start rewinding. And hold rewind the whole time you're doing this. Then menu up to map. Spam it like 10-15 times. It can actually work with less, but I just spam it a lot. And then you want to press cancel, and you may need to click continue. The print should teleport backwards like that, and then hold rewind and press cancel and let go of everything. Like that, and you should get launched right over here. I'll do that again because that's a lot of information. Shit, I waited too long. Hold on, I can get back down if I have the trainer. Oh, you don't die from that. Okay. I thought you die from that fall. Anyway, so yeah, I'll just show you that again because it's a lot of information. So press escape and then mash escape and block. Press continue while we're to the left and safety fall as quickly as you can. Totally fucked it up. Just like that. Press continue, hold rewind. Click or press enter on the map a bunch of times. Press cancel. Maybe click continue. I hate how I have to say that. Wait a bit. Hold rewind, press cancel. Yeah, that it depends on your PC. I think my PC is just weird. I haven't heard anyone else having this trouble. But yeah, I didn't used to have to do that, but now I always have to click continue. It's really annoying. Okay, so then we can continue up here. And then just side roll to the left here. So that whole process was just to get the scorpion sword and then get back up here so we can continue. You're just gonna go up here casually. Okay, so coming up here, we want to break that wooden wall, but there's enemies, so you kind of need to be careful with this. You want to do rolls until you reach the wall, and then right when the prince takes out his weapons, he'll do it automatically. So right when he takes out his weapons, then hold the primary attack so he does a charge attack like that. So yeah, so you roll up here, wait till he takes out his weapons, and then hold the primary attack. And you should break the wall, and you can just move forward like that to get away from the enemies. Okay, so the fastest way to kill these guys is to kill the first guy by using primary attack, secondary attack combo, and then after that you want to do a secondary counter attack. So I'll just show you that part. So you just go to like that and then counter it with a secondary counter. And don't hold block as you're waiting for him to attack you, because if you do that, it usually baits a heavy attack and you can't counter those. So just don't block until he starts attacking. Then you can start blocking and do the secondary counter. And then for the second guy, you can either just throw the weapon at him and it'll just kill him, or you can do the same thing I just did on the first guy if you want to keep the weapon for later, but I recommend just throwing it to kill him. Just like that. Okay. That sound effects is kind of loud. Okay, so we get here, and we want to go up there, and so we're going to use another launch to do that. Which there's two methods of doing this. One method involves jumping onto the wall from this position, and using the map you can force the game to do a safety fall with jumping off the wall. So I'll show that method first. I'll show both. The other method is just the same thing we did before, except you kind of do it from this position over here. Either one can work, but it just depends what you prefer. I personally don't like this method because getting the timing correct to get a safety fall is kind of annoying. But if you want to try this one, stand about here and then open your map, and you want to hold block with a keyboard, so he's blocking like that when the menu's open. And then you want to hit continue, hold block, and then jump and mash jump to get on the wall right before the menu comes back up. So just like that. The timing is, again, it's kind of weird. And then after that point, you want to hit continue again and then mash the secondary attack key to get a safety fall to come out, which it did start just barely. It's hard to tell. But yeah, you need the animation to start even a little bit before the menu pops up, otherwise it won't work, and that's the hard part to get right with this. But yeah, if you get the secondary to come out, then you just do the thing we did before, hit continue, hold rewind, and then hit map 2 to 15 times, and then continue, and then wait a little bit, rewind, cancel, and it should launch you right up here. So yeah, it can definitely work. I just don't like it because of that weird timing to get the safety fall to come out. So the other way to do it is just the same way we did before, except it's a little harder because you don't have a lot of room to work with. You can't do it like just from here, because if you do it from that spot, you'll probably just hit the cutscene and then your run will be over. So you need to line up like as far back here as you can. And I like to sort of like use first person to face inward to the wall a bit. That makes it so you get a wall run instead of doing something like going like, okay, it still worked. But sometimes he can just like move and then start attacking. Yeah, so stand here and then you just do the exact same thing we did before. Continue. Oh yeah, the thing that I was talking about is happening. You won't wall run. There we go. And you should launch right up here. Perfect. So yeah, it's essentially the same thing. It's only different if you decide to do the first method, which it might be different if you're on keyboard or controller, but try both out, see which one works for you, and do that one. Okay, so when we get down here, this area there's no collision because you're normally only on this side after you watch the cutscene. But so we can get in this little spot, and then we need to wall run into that area, which will activate the cutscene. If you're on controller, it's apparently really easy, but for mouse and keyboard, it can be kind of tricky. Even though I just got it first try, but I just sort of wall run randomly until it works. You can like sort of give the wall run a little delay between attempts if you're having trouble. But yeah, it's usually pretty easy. You shouldn't have much trouble with it. Okay, so as soon as this cutscene is over, just walk straight down the stairs and to the right. You don't want to like stick around the Dahaka, because if you wait too long, or if you walk in the wrong direction, he can kill you, and then you'll just be dead. So as soon as it's over, just walk straight down the stairs and to the right. And I don't know why you ever would, but don't walk over there because it triggers the cutscene. Just go straight over here. Safety fall for swag. Probably no faster. And we can head into Mystic Caves. I guess I'll mention that like the reason why we're going to this area at all is to hit more story gates, so the game will actually trigger the final fight when we try to finish it. But there is like a theoretical thing, or I think it's proven to be possible now, where you can trigger it on your own, similar to how we triggered Storygate 58. But at the moment, it's just way too RNG heavy and stupid, so I won't even go into it. Maybe I'll add it later, but for now, let's just go through this area. Yeah, so if you want a checkpoint, make sure you drink from the fountain until you see your health, or all the way if you want to heal yourself. Because if you die here, it's going to be a really long, you're going to respawn like all the way back before the library. It'll suck. So yeah, drink from the fountain if you want a checkpoint. And there's a cutscene here that you can skip, like that. Yes, I got it. So you can wall run in the corner there and actually jump over the cutscene. It only saves like a second, so like don't do it if it's stupid. It is stupid, but just don't bother with it at all if you can't do it. Even like 1 out of 2 times. I always go for it though. Yeah, so then just side roll past the enemies. If you don't do it, the only thing that could be troublesome is the side rolls. So if you don't do it, as soon as the cutscene's over, just try and like move to the right and then immediately start side rolling, because the enemies will approach you fairly quickly. So yeah, so like it's not worth trying to set up to skip it. Just turn around, wall run, try it, and then if you don't get it, it's whatever. All right, and then when we get here, we're gonna do a safety fall to land down there. And then we're going to jump to that other platform. And if you can't get the jump, you can just wall run across too. It's not too much slower. So you just land here and then jump over to this platform like that. So it's kind of a tricky jump because of the enemies. And because they set you in like the auto-targeting position, so it's, or like the combat stance. So it can be hard to time the jump, but if you just practice it, you'll be able to get it pretty easily. And if you don't, then just wall run and kill the enemy, it's fine. Okay, and then we're gonna come up here. I usually just do this movement actually. Like, I don't know what's faster, but I find it's just really smooth. Like, as soon as I get this, I just climb up, do one roll, wall run, and then bounce in between. You just want to make sure you're further back so you don't use the beams there, because that's slow. And we get up here, and then we can just jump straight forwards and hit a cutscene. And this is very important. Before you hit the cutscene, you want to mash jump. Just like that, to get his legs to be all weird in the cutscene. That's very important, because it looks funny.
That door. The switch that opens it has to be around here somewhere.
It's funny how there's still audio. Is that like... Yeah, that's coming from effects volume. That's funny. This game is stupid. Okay, so at this point there's a bunch of dogs, and we want to ignore them for speed. So what I do personally is I just sort of like move to the left and then wait a little bit, jump across, do side rolls, and then on the way back, I just you can just see them in the cutscene, and then you just gotta plan your route accordingly and try to get to the door as quickly as possible. If you try to always be rolling and animation canceling rolls, you can usually stop the auto targeting from slowing you down. And the only other thing that could help you is having that secondary. So if you chose to keep the secondary at this point, you could use it to kill one of the dogs. That's the only other thing you could really do to help you here. Yeah, what I do is I just sort of the first part is fine. You can just jump away from them and side roll. It's coming back that it's tricky, especially with this stupid button. How it's programmed. I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, just sort of like wait a little bit for them to move over. Then you can just go over here and then side roll. It's hard to see where you're going. You can use the lamps to sort of know when to turn. Yeah, so this button. The timer to reach the door right here is continuing during this cutscene. So when you first hit it, it's really tight cycle. So if you want to activate easy mode, wait for the button to decompress after the cutscene and then hit it again and then go for the door, and it'll be like way easier. But it's obviously slower, so I'm gonna try not to do that. So to get there as quickly as possible, you want to do this movement. You want to do a roll here because it does matter. A little bit extra movement. Then jump off this, and then you just kind of have to what's it called? There we go. You see how tight the cycle is? You kind of just have to react to the dogs where they are. You can jump around them like I did there to stop the auto targeting. And anytime you jump to a platform and if there's dogs around, start rolling immediately because that can stop you from going into the combat stance, which slows you down a lot, and there's like no way you'll make the door. So yeah, just practice that a bunch. It's not like too bad. You can usually find a route through unless they're like in really bad spots. Yeah, and again, if you want easy mode, you gotta wait until the door closes and then hit the button again and then go, and it'll be way easier to make the cycle. So at any rate, when you get through, just come down here and we're going to break this wall to get the banana sword. Or if you want to be all technical, it's called the light sword. And that's just for damage for the final boss. This is the whole reason we get these two swords. The banana sword is the highest damaging sword in the game, and we need the primary for the multiplier, because if we just kept the wooden sword, the 2.5 times 0 is still 0, so you're going to do shit damage on the boss. But now it's 2.5 times whatever this end game sword does. Yeah, so we can just continue, hit that switch, and start your side rolls all the way down here. And follow this path that I'm going with the side rolls. You want to go to the right here, and then go to the left, because there's saw blades there that can kill you. And just do this bit casually. Oh, one tiny thing I just did there. When you land from something, you see how he does that like stun animation? It's actually faster to buffer trying to get up, so like you just like jump and then hold jump and he'll do that animation, which is slightly faster than waiting for him to stagger. So, very important. Save like a couple frames. And then again, if you want a checkpoint, drink from the fountain here, because if you don't drink, you don't get a checkpoint, because this game is dumb. But ideally, you would just jump past it, so you can climb up here and actually just jump off of it to gain a bit more speed. And then you just got to do this part normally. There's a stupid trick you can do on this rope that's actually a little faster. If you jump off the wall right before you would grab the rope, you can skip like the stun you get on the rope, so you do. That was too early. Like that. You see, I like jumped right before I grabbed the rope. If you don't do that, then what normally happens is this. You'll sort of land and you have to wait for the rope to stabilize, so it just skips that. It's very, very minor, and it's also kind of precise to do. So just, yeah, just a tiny thing you can try to go for. And then from here, you want to climb up 4 times, I believe it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then jump, and you'll grab without getting a stagger, so you don't need to buffer one of these animations. And move over. I have no idea if doing a safety fall here is faster or not. I always do one because safety falls are cool. Then you can do side rolls here. I think I usually do side rolls here. But when you're walking downstairs, you're actually at the max speed possible. So like, I guess, yeah, I think what I normally do is like walk down, and then when you get to the bottom, start some side rolls without getting auto-targeted by that thing. Because, yeah, when it's pointless to do side rolls downstairs. Then you want to come over here, and then we're going to safety fall again. And you don't need to lose any height when you do this one, so you can just wall run and then immediately safety fall, and you'll land here, no problem. And then from here, we're going to jump to that clockwork mechanism. These are like frozen. Normally they'd be moving, but since we never actually visited this area, they're kind of frozen in place. So this jump can be kind of tricky. You want to try it from like a running start, so like start from back here, and you also want to get it so that you lose a bit of height. You see how like I fell off of the platform a little bit before I jumped? That's how you know you'll probably make it. If I jump too early and just do a normal jump, I'm most likely not going to make it like that. You need to jump late enough so that you get that little fall before you jump. That was like just barely it, yeah. So yeah, it's kind of tricky, but just practice it. If you don't make it, you're just not jumping late enough. You can jump later than you think. It's kind of surprising. So you want to walk around this until you're on this side of it. I like using the walk toggle, or if you're on controller, you would just move carefully with the control stick. But yeah, so you want to get on this side, because you can't like just jump off this normally. He'll just do a roll like that. Because this isn't a normal platform that you're supposed to be on. So you can't, the game won't allow you to jump, and you can't reach the platform there. So what we're going to do instead is use this wall to get a jump by just doing a min wall run like that, and then jump off. And then you should grab onto here. And come over here, right where this like rope is. You can get over, jump out, and then start side rolls. So at this point, we've hit like all the story gates back in Mystic Caves. So the game is set to be finished. So now we're just going to the end as quickly as possible. So for this spot, there's traps that activate. And since we have low health, we want to avoid damage. So the way you can do that is by walking to the door first and then hitting the button, because that starts the trap cycle early. So you start the trap cycle, hit the button, and then by the time you get there, the traps are in a good spot for you to not get hit. And you can't, you probably noticed you can like side roll through traps, but you can't side roll through that one because there's like an extra invisible wall. So you do have to go up top here. And you can fall down here. You can use a little trick here that's kind of fun to do. It's a first person cancel, so like as soon as you land, the prince lands in like a stun like that, which you can't move in. You have to like wait until he's completed and then you can start moving. But you can actually cancel that with the first person. So you can just like activate first person as soon as you land and then hold left to start moving a little bit faster, like that. Really minor thing. Okay, so when we get here, we're gonna do a jump. There is like an alternate method to get down here that's not much slower, and it avoids the possibility of a cutscene. But I really don't like this cutscene. Like never triggers as long as you're fast enough and you don't move into the middle of the area. But yeah, so you line up right here and then just jump like that. You want to jump like when the camera flips around. So, like when you're moving, eventually the camera flips around like that. That's when you want to jump. So it's pretty late. Like that. And then you should land here. Then you can just fall off, go directly over here. Don't move into the middle of the area. Just stick very close to this pole, and then climb up, and then jump over. And then there's a cutscene. This is the way I like to do it. I like to drop down here, because it sets up a nice spot to jump to the platform so you don't grab onto the pole. But you could just jump from up here. It doesn't matter. But yeah, just jump down here and hit that, and then rewind. And what that does is it deactivates a cutscene because we hit it when we're dead. So now when we come over here and we can just jump over, and then you see I didn't grab onto that top pole. That's why I do it the way I do it there. And then you come down here, and then this cutscene is not activated. So normally it would activate and kill you. So yeah. And then again, drink if you want a checkpoint, because this game doesn't give you one unless you drink. And then we're gonna come down here. You can do another first-person cancel here, which I kind of failed, but yeah. And we can start side rolls. And to side roll through this area with this enemy, landscape is really useful. You can side roll with landscape and just kind of hold down left, and you can get in a good spot to side roll right between his legs. Just like this. And then you want to like let go of down halfway so you don't fall off the end of the platform there. And then when you get here, just like wall run up this and bounce over here. And again, you could buffer the get up animation like that. There's not a lot of tricks anymore. There are some left, but this whole section is just a lot of movement. So for this spot, there's enemies that we don't want to auto-target. So a way you can avoid that is by, as soon as you start walking off this platform, you can buffer a wall run around the enemy, do one roll, and then you can start side rolling. So you just get off, buffer wall run, roll, he'll take out his weapons automatically, and then you can start side rolling. And you can make that cycle pretty tight, but you can make it with side rolls. And then when you get here, just wall run off this little bit here, just like that, and you'll fall down a bit further and grab this ladder. And then there's a switch. We want to open this door that's over there, so we can do a safety fall to grab onto that switch as quickly as possible. You don't really need to lose any height on that one either. You can pretty much safety fall immediately. And then move. This door cycle is kind of tight, so you want to, like, as it's opening, move all the way to the front here. And then as soon as it's open fully, you can drop down and go to make it. And then just kind of roll under these straps. Try to be aware of them, like I'm failing to do here, so you don't get damaged. Doesn't really matter if you get damaged, but yeah, it slows you down. And one more thing, when you jump across that pit back there, sometimes the camera can flip 180 degrees, so just be aware of that. Just be conscious of it, so if it does happen, you can react to it. But yeah, so when we get here, there's a cutscene that starts when you leave this area. We call it the mask off cutscene, because it's the point where you would take off the mask and become the regular prince again. But we can skip it. It's not that much faster, so you can just, if you choose to, just don't do it. I think it saves like, I want to say like 10 seconds probably. So yeah, it's up to you, but I'll show you how to do it if you want to. So the setup to do this is to take out your weapons, bounce off this wall, do a min wall run, bounce off like that. Don't do it like that, because you do get closer to the door frame. You want to do a min wall run bounce, and then do a block roll like that, and then do 2 awkwards like this. And then you're like as close as you can be to the cutscene without hitting it. And one more thing to note is be careful when you're doing the inputs. Don't just mash them like this, because the prince can do some funky animations. I'm trying to make one happen right now, but it's not really doing it. But the prince can do some funky animations that'll push you forward a little more. So when you do all the inputs, you want to make sure they're all very discrete. So do your bounce, wait a bit, block roll, wait, awkward, awkward, like that, to make sure you don't hit the cutscene by accident. And then from here, just move, use the first person camera to angle yourself to the left like this, right to the corner outside of the door frame like that. And then I like to set up the camera like this. You don't have to, but that's just how I like to do it. And then from here, we're going to do a roll teleport, just like we did back at the foundry, except this one is very precise. So you need it to be very good timing. You need to roll right before the menu pops up. It's possible it'll work if you see the roll animation, but ideally the prince barely moves. I'll try and get it so you see what I'm talking about. That one will probably work, but it's not perfect. That's next to perfect. You could try that if you wanted to, but I'm not going to because... Alright, so I got back here. I hit the cutscene accidentally, so I had to backtrack. So we set up like so. Aim. I do find aiming as far right as you can to help. I usually line it up with the edge of that platform. I put it at the edge of the screen like that. It's you're even in line with the wall, but it does help. So with this, like I was saying, the timing is very tight, and I usually use a metronome for this. So if you want to try that to make it easier, feel free. Put it at 154 beats per minute, and you want to hit continue on the first beat, and then do your roll on the third, I believe it is. So you can probably hear the metronome in the mic too. Like that. So I press continue on the first beat and then rolled on the third, and you see he barely started moving, so that should definitely work. So then you just hold rewind, press map, and then cancel, continue. Then you should teleport right in this corner. And then as soon as you get it, you want to don't move at all. Wait until the prince stabilizes, and then tap to turn around like that. Because if you just try to turn around right away, the prince will do a slide animation, and it'll usually hit the cutscene. You want to be very careful here that you don't accidentally hit it after skipping it. So then just walk down here and get up, and just to set up to jump to this platform over here like that. And then jump down here. And then I use the first person camera to sort of line up a jump that hopefully doesn't do that. It can be kind of annoying. Oh my god, really? So yeah, it's just to get down from there. That's the fastest way that I know how to do it. So yeah, and then we're just gonna go straight up this direction towards the final boss. So again, that skip only saves about 10 seconds, I want to say, depending how fast you do it. So if you having too much trouble with that, just watch the cutscene, and then you'll turn into the regular prince, and then continue on. There, you can take one hit of damage from the pole. If you take damage from that, you'll die. I didn't because I have more health, but you can take 1 damage from the pole, but the other traps you will have to actually avoid taking damage. Same with this one, you gotta avoid it, which I clearly didn't. Oh my god. Can't play this game anymore. Here we go. Alright, so when you get here, you can do an optional launch. That'll save 2 seconds. I like to do it from this this pillar here, Because you can do it like just from here, like that. But if you do it there, it'll skip a load trigger, and then you have to backtrack for it. So if you do it from back here, you should hit it, and you can just continue. So stand in line with this, and a little further back like this, and then you can just do the regular launch that we've done 2 times now before. That didn't work. That's what it looks like when you don't, where like it happens to me when I don't mash the map key long enough. So if that's happening, mash the map key more. Ah. That's the launch. Brings you right over here. And the cutscene, the load trigger is like right here. So that lands you right on it. If you do it, it's possible you can go right over it, but it's pretty rare from that position. If you do it closer, you'll most definitely fly over it. But yeah, that launch only saves 2 seconds, so feel free to not do it. Alright, so at this point there's a cutscene that'll start if we just walk forward. So we're going to skip that instead. What we want to do is line up right here where that texture changes. It goes from like the muck there to the regular tile pattern. So line up right where that texture changes, and then do a wall run teleport that you might have done at the start of the run, but probably not. And I just remembered I don't have my controls set up correctly. Let me fix that. Shoutouts to using the menu in the menu glitch. It's pretty awesome. Okay, and then so we're just gonna do get your menu glitch and then click continue, wall run forward pretty much immediately. Just like that. And then hold rewind, click map, wait a bit, and then cancel, continue. And then you should teleport right back here past the cutscene. Alright, and then there's another cutscene here that we're going to skip, doing the same thing. This one's harder because you don't have as much room to do the teleport. But, yeah, it's not too bad. You just gotta delay it. So the way I like to set it up is to wall run on this, hit the wall like that, and then reset your camera to make sure you're not moving forward any, and then just move straight to the right, and then do a block roll forward. And it should bring you right up close to the cutscene, but not actually hit it. And then you want to just line up to this wall, angle yourself like this so you'll actually get a wall run, and then get your menu glitch. And then for this one you need to delay it, because if you just like go right away, you'll reach the end of the wall like that, and then you won't get a teleport obviously, so you need to delay it so that you don't reach the end of the wall. Which is like roughly a second, I guess. I don't really have a timing for it, I just kind of feel it out. But yeah, you just gotta delay a bit so that you wall run and you're at the edge like that when the menu pops up. And then hold rewind, click map, cancel, continue. And you should teleport past the cutscene like this. But in doing so, you also teleported past a load trigger. So you need to backtrack to the wall here. You can just like use this line right here as a guide right between the door thing and just bounce off the wall right there. And then you can just start side rolls to the door here. The other nice thing about staying the Sand Wraith for this is that if you make mistakes, you're not screwed because you have infinite sands. If you're the regular prince, then you need to make sure you don't mess up any of those teleports because you only have 1 sand to spare. So yeah, that is one nice thing about turning into the Sand Wraith. It's like safer in a way. And it's also faster, but it's harder, so it's really up to you. So at this point, we can continue, but we need to heal for the fight. So you want to drink from the fountain here, And then from this point on, you want to be relatively fast in your movement because your health will decrease, and you do need a certain amount of health for the fight, but you can make it from this. So you just want to drink to heal your health back up, and then go to the portal and try and be relatively fast. There is another body of water you could drink at if you want to be extra safe. And actually, sorry, you should drink from here, not in the what's that? The past. You want to drink here in the present because it's closer to the fight. So drink from this fountain, not the other one. And then we're gonna head up to the final boss. You can jump that gap if you want to. Oh, nice. I guess I'll show you since I have to rewind. You can jump this like that a little bit faster. Safety fall here because it's cool. There's no audio because of the menu glitch. Kind of weird. So this is the body of water down there that you could drink from if like you were slow or if you want to be like extra safe. You could drink from down here. Actually, I'll just go ahead and do that to show you, I guess. So yeah, you could drink from down here if you want to. But if you don't, you would just do a diagonal jump to grab onto this without having to fall down there. Then go straight into this fight. So this whole fight is like kind of bullshit because it can just not work for no reason. But it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks, but it's a really short run, so you can just reset. But yeah, so there's different tips you'll hear. The way I do it is I enter the cutscene with my weapons put away because placebo. It might not make a difference, but we do it anyway, or I do it anyway. So if your weapons are out, make sure they're put away before you go in. That's my advice, and then just roll in to trigger the cutscene. And for the first phase, you're just gonna, all of your attacks are just mashing the secondary key. So for the first phase, you're just gonna mash secondary attack, and you'll get 3 hits, I believe, and she can block at different points, but usually she'll block on the 4th hit. And then you want to dodge the attack by just moving to the right a little bit, and then mash the secondary again to do 2 more hits, and that'll be the first phase. And you don't need to move right very much at all. It's just like a little bit. Hopefully she doesn't do the teleporting here. So mash secondary. 1, 2, 3, block, move to the right, 1, 2. That's perfect. She can sometimes do teleporting at that phase. That's just bad luck, and you have to just block it, wait for her to stop, and then do the same thing. And for the second phase, you want to, sorry I keep like pausing, but I want to explain it before I do it. So for the second phase, you want to just mash secondary again, and I also like to mash forward in the secondary for this phase because you're usually a little further back from Kylina, so you want to mash forward to make sure the prince actually auto targets the boss and not just hits the air. So yeah, I just like mash forward and secondary. If you're on controller, you can probably just hold forward and it'll do the same thing. So yeah, just mash that. And then you want to just do the same thing as you were doing in the first phase. Just keep attacking. If she blocks it, move to the right to dodge and keep attacking. Eventually she'll start the mashing cycle, and you want to fail the mashing cycle to avoid the tornadoes. And this is why this fight is bullshit, because of these tornadoes. There's 3 cycles that can happen, and you can skip all of them if you do it correctly and you get lucky. And the last one can just happen even though you did everything correctly. So that's why it kind of sucks. But to skip one of them, you just need to fail that mashing, and that skips one of the cycles. And then as soon as you fail that, you want to start slow-mo and then continue attacking until she's 2 hits left. And at that point, I actually count out the attacks. I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then that's enough. And then right before the cutscene starts, at the end, you want to jump on her, cause placebo, and then hope you can kill her before the tornado. So that's like a lot of information, but I'll just explain it all and then I'll try to demonstrate it here. I might put in some other footage of me doing this as well, but yeah, I'll just try it here. The most bullshit part about this is the end. Sometimes, like, even if you don't get the jump on her, it can still work. It might not. It's stupid. So you just keep mashing. She blocks, move to the side. Slow-mo. As soon as she, like, attacks you from that mashing, you want to slow-mo. And then just keep attacking. I actually lost count. One, yeah, right there. And then right when the cutscene starts, which aligns with the slow-mo. Okay, that was totally messed up. She actually started to do the tornadoes, but then the cutscene happened, but I still was able to get the triple skip because the skip is stupid bullshit. So that's the skip. Hope that helps. I'll put in other footage of me getting it the normal way, but as you can see, you can still get it even if everything goes wrong. I got the attacks in there and she started the tornado, but then the cutscene started, which was really weird. I've never actually seen that before. But yeah, so ideally you want to like vault on her because we think that helps. We're not really sure though. I actually don't think it helps at all, but I still do it because why not? And then the last phase, ideally you just mash forward and secondary attack again, and then 2 more attacks, and then she'll be dead. And if she might block again, then you just have to do the move to the side thing and do it again. So yeah. That's the end of the run. Yeah, hopefully that helped. I think I explained everything pretty well. And yeah, shoutouts to finishing the run as the Sand Wraith. That's always fun. So yeah, if you need more help, feel free to ask us on the Discord, which you can find on the speedrun.com page. There's always people to help there. And yeah, thanks for watching. And again, I'll probably put in more footage of me doing this skip the normal way after this post commentary here. So yeah, peace out.
Then you know I have no choice.
There is always a choice, Kylina.
Then I choose to live, and for you to die. I will always be one step.
Don't you see? We can change our fate. This isn't what happened the first time we fought.
The first time?
That's what I've been trying to tell you. If you just let me
No
explain.
more words, Prince. If you've only things to say and nothing to show, then let us finish this.
I'm sorry.
You are wasting your time. I will kill you!
I do not want to hurt you, Kylina, but I cannot allow that to happen.